If you own a drone, then you know all about crash landings and broken parts. That's what happened to this DJI Mavic Pro, and we're gonna try and fix it. Hello and welcome back to Gears and Tech. As you heard already, this is my Mavic Pro drone and it is currently broken. Now, if you looked very closely, you would have seen these elastic bands going across here. I can show you this rotor is totally broken off. That's because on our Gears and Tech budget car road trip, I was getting some sweet aerial footage when I flew it into a tree, it crashed down and broke this leg. The proper repair for this leg is, before we get too far into this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below. If you've seen some of our content already and have not subscribed, we want you to join our community. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's get back to the video. The proper repair for this leg is to actually remove the motor, open the body up, desolder the wires from the circuit board, put a new leg on, and then resolder the wires on properly. Now that's the proper repair, but I think that I can fix it with some of this. This is JB Weld Clear Weld. It is made for, what does it say? Tile, most plastics, ceramic, glass, wood, and more. And a set time is 5 minutes and it cures in 1 hour. It also says the strength is 4,400 PSI, which should be plenty strong to re-secure the leg on this drone. When I epoxy it together, I need some way to hold this together roughly in the position where it should be when it cures, because once it cures, there's not going to be any moving it. So what I've done is put one elastic band over to here, which is inside kind of the rotor, and then I'm going to put one more up a little bit higher and then stick it on like that. And it seems like, and this is just the test fit, it seems like if I do that, I can get this to more or less sit how it should. You can see there, for it to fly again. I think I can have a certain amount of angular misalignment and still be okay, but you don't want a whole lot. So I definitely want to make sure that this fits in that crack perfectly. And it really looks like I will be able to achieve that. The next step, to mix up the epoxy and get it slathered all over inside here, and then get this sealed up, and then I'll put some more on the outside just to make sure I got lots on there so I get a good strong bond. So before I do that, I do want to have some sort of, I don't want to wreck my table with this epoxy, so I'm going to find something here. Piece of paper, just because it will drip. I expect it'll drip. The epoxy comes with a little stirring stick, and usually I'll use like the plastic that it came in. It is a multi-use. It's got a releasing lid there, and it's a two-part epoxy, so you need to mix both parts together, and I'd rather have more than I need, so we'll go like that, and then just suck back a little bit. This is 5-minute epoxy, so you got to move kind of fast here. I'm going to mix both parts together. It's very important that you get it mixed really well. If you don't, then it actually makes a sticky, gooey mess, and then it won't actually dry, and that'll be a problem. Now I need to do this repair because this weekend I'm planning to do our first day of ice drifting for this season. And you may have seen my other videos where we're getting the drift car ready. The drift car is ready, and I was thinking of all the sweet footage that I can get, and then I realized that my drone was still broken from before. Now that it's mixed up, I'm gonna just ooze this in here like that on all sides, just like that, and then we're gonna stick that together. We're gonna get our other elastic band that I pre-test fitted, make sure that's on there like that. Excellent. Now the other thing is I don't want this on that rotor. which already is looking like a problem. So I'm going to turn the rotor so that it doesn't dry on there. Okay, and then I'm going to flip this over, I think, so that any drippage will drip down instead of up. I don't know. I think I've just made a mess. I've got goop on my fingers, which is getting on the drone. Okay, so I'm going to hold this. It says it sets in 5 minutes, so it's probably easier for me to just hold this for 5 minutes than it is for me to count on these elastic bands. Now here's the thing, it's important that you don't disturb it while it's drying, or it will cause very serious issues because it won't properly cure. So I'm just trying to get a little bit extra on here in the cracks so that this thing will properly bond. My elastic bands are not holding it perfectly, which is a shame. I just want to keep this thing spinning so that it doesn't dry in a way that it locks this up, because this will lock it up. I need to let it cure for an hour before I test fly this. So once I get it tacky, then I'll just leave it for an hour. Then we'll come back and do a test flight, see if it holds up under stress, because that's where it really needs to shine. So I think we're okay there. I'm going to put it this way now. Just let it hold itself. It's really sitting lower than I thought it would. Is that just because of that? I don't know if those elastic bands are holding it all that well. Ooh, I can see that they're not. Over here it's twisting a bit. So I'm just sticking this cardboard from the lid inside the rotor to try and clear out any glue that might have got in there. It's really too bad. It seems like it's drying crooked. Anyway, we're gonna leave it. We're gonna let it dry. We'll come back in 5 minutes. We'll check on it, and then we'll try in an hour. We'll do a test flight and see if that works. Hopefully this fixed it. Finally, my glue is dry. It has cured, and it is time to see if the fix has worked. Here I'm gonna get you guys a nice, good close-up shot of our fix. So you can see there's a little bit of a crack on there still, but the epoxy has fully cured. This end piece here is in, like, it's pretty much exactly how it should be. If I grab it, it doesn't flex. The whole arm will move, but it doesn't really move around. My blade still spins free. The only thing left to do is to test it out. The problem is it's now 4 o'clock and the sun's gone down outside at my house and it's cold outside. I am not the world's best drone pilot, as I think we established by the fact that I crashed it into a tree and broke it. I think I'm gonna try and fly this thing in here just to see if it flies, which is super dangerous. But one thing that I noticed while I was just kind of inspecting it, this propeller is actually broken. And these ones where it smashed into the tree, where is it? This one, and broke, actually has some hairline cracks in it as well. It's time for me to admit that I've actually let this glue dry for 3 days because I needed to buy some new propellers that I can stick on here so that I'm not gonna actually kill myself trying to fly my drone. These are master air screw propellers. They are supposed to be direct swap replacements for this. Now these are also supposed to be much quieter, and after looking at the size of these things, holy smokes, I believe it. Look at that. What it takes to fly a drone is based basically on propulsion. How much air can you move to provide lift? A small propeller needs to spin fast to create the lift. A big propeller needs to spin less fast to create the same lift. These ones on here have a little arrow to say which way they turn to replace, and oh, these ones do too. Okay, so it should be a very straightforward swap. The motor on here, you can see it's black. The motor on here, you can see it's got a white stripe. You can see this one should also have a white stripe, and this one should also be black because they're opposing. That's how they set these up. You will also notice this has white stripes on it. So does this one. If I look at the blade profile of this one and this one, the one with the white stripe goes on the motor with the white stripe. This one should just clip right on. It does. Okay, so it's not all lost. I mean, I get a propeller upgrade out of this too. That's wonderful. I'm not gonna throw these out because in a pinch, 3 of them will work. I'll keep those as spares, but when you're replacing propellers, you are supposed to replace all because you could have problems otherwise. Now, I said I'm gonna fly this. I don't have my flight controller hooked up to my phone or anything. All I'm gonna do is take off and land. But I gotta clear the studio out a little bit, and I'm gonna reposition the camera for this because I think this is gonna work. Like, the worst that'll happen is my glue here won't hold and it'll fall, and then the whole thing will crash land and all of my propellers will break, and it'll be fantastic. We are going to turn this on, and it's gonna do the quick little buzz. Excellent. And then we're gonna turn this on. Connecting. We'll see if it connects to that. This thing doesn't like this fly. I need to use the DJI Go 4 app. Now that the furnace is on and everything's on, I'm gonna tell this thing to take off. And that's how you wreck brand new. Of course, it's the same one too. First of all, that was $30 well spent. Now I've got to buy some more blades. But the good news is it does fly. My repaired piece worked beautifully. So that's wonderful. The only thing I did notice is this is very sensitive to the angular misalignment. So I didn't get it perfectly straight. So the hovering function, it tended to want to fly backwards because this is tipped just a little bit backwards. And that's why it didn't fly quite as perfectly as I hoped. And a smart person would have known that we should fly this outside. We at least know it flies. We at least know it takes off. I've got another problem with my gimbal now because that's giving me an error saying something's wrong with that. We're going to see if we can solve that issue in a different video, but what we do know is if you only have damage to one of these legs, you can glue it back together, wait for it to fully cure, and you will, in fact, be able to fly your drone again. You shouldn't fly it in the house though. Hey, thanks for watching all the way to the end of this video. We hope you enjoy the content in this video, and we'd love to have you come back. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And for those subscribers who are looking for that extra special thing that you can do to support this channel, consider joining our members group. That's where we're building this community, the Gears and Tech community, where we can all enjoy content together. You'll get special perks, which we'd love for you to check out by clicking the link down below. For those of you who are just happy to watch the video, that's okay too. You can check out some of our other content right over here, where we've got some previous videos that have already been uploaded and enjoyed by many of our viewers already. We do hope to see you again. This has been Gears and Tech. Have a great day.